Lawyers. Hangin with Hester and Hanny on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge and 1130 The Tiger. Now, Hangin with Hester and Hanny with Jacob Hester and Charles Hanagriff. Hester and Hanny on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge and 1130 The Tiger. Alongside Jacob Hester, here's Charles Hanagriff.
Hey, good afternoon and welcome to Hangin with Hester and Hanny, 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge, 1130 The Tiger up in Shreveport. And if you're watching along with us on CST, if you're watching along with us on YouTube, if you have power, if you are in a safe place, we certainly hope you are. Thank you for joining us this afternoon. Josh Ward on the audio board, Paul O'Neill on the video board, and along with Jacob Hester, I'm Charles Hanagriff. How are you? How have you managed? You spent a lot of your time here yesterday. You were one of the guys that was able to get in ahead of it.
Yes.
And hunker down here for a while yesterday.
Would it surprise you if I said I was cold?
No, but that's pretty much a normal day.
It's even
here.
worse today. Just get ready.
It is cold.
Sat here for 3 hours already today. Just get ready.
It is a layers day. I'd considered another layer. I decided against it. I'm already regretting that decision. In the 20s right now here in downtown Baton Rouge. The drive in, at least through the LSU campus and into downtown, the streets are not frozen over. So
Nicholson was great actually this morning. It's actually kind of a pretty drive. Trees and everything.
Since there's nobody on the roads, which is a good thing. We have some tree branches and things down on the campus, and over in Oak Alley there were some trees in the road that they were clearing away. Everybody kind of settled in. And a lot of people lost power. A lot of people are still without power. Continuing information on our sister station Talk 107.3 if you're looking for that kind of information, but. Again, we're glad that you're with us. Provide a little bit of a distraction. That's sometimes what we do during. It's usually hurricanes, right? So once the immediate hit of the storm or before, we provide a distraction. We talk about sports. There's lots of information that you can get from Talk 107.3. But if you want a distraction, want to get away for a little bit, we are here
all day, every day.
One of us, anyway. So the LSU schedule has been tossed about with the weather that has swept the whole nation really, but the basketball game with Ole Miss has been reslated for 4:00 on Thursday, and the baseball series over the weekend opening night has been pushed up to 4:00 in the afternoon. Basketball team. This is a reschedule. This was one of the games that Will Wade was able to add. He wanted to give them a chance at another quad one win, and if they could do that inside the conference, all the better. Well, Ole Miss's latest run over the last 4 games has put them solidly in quad one territory at 55. I got an immediate question when this game was scheduled. Why would LSU agree to go back to Oxford again? And the difference is just in that NET ranking. If you beat a team on the road, if you beat a top 75 team on the road, then you are in quad one territory. But if you're at home, they've got to be in the top 30.
Right.
So this is a team in Ole Miss that is very clearly with room to spare inside the top 75 on the road.
Yeah.
But and we'll get you in quad one territory, but would not in if the game were taking place in Baton Rouge.
Right. So it's a great move by Will. I realize they're a hot basketball team, but he's doing what he thinks is best for his team. Get another quad one victory, and I understand everything about it. And Hunt was wrong. It was not Miami that LSU was searching after. It was actually North Carolina in Chapel Hill. So that would have been a little bit of an interesting deal. Hey, kind of like football. Hey, y'all open? Let's go to Chapel Hill in the middle of the week. Y'all cool with that? All right, we'll be there.
And, as sexy as it sounds because of the tradition of North Carolina, there's not 3 inches of difference between the Ole Miss basketball team and the North Carolina
Easier
basketball
travel
team.
in Ole Miss. Yeah. You match up with them pretty well.
Ole Miss is 12-8 with a 55 NET today. North Carolina is 12-7 with a 57 NET. Yeah. They are essentially, by the computers, the same team. Now, I get North Carolina's North Carolina.
Yeah. Smarter play to play Ole Miss, though.
Yeah, if you have a choice, certainly. The last time LSU played Ole Miss, they did it without Cam Thomas for the majority of the game. He turned an ankle or a knee. I forgot. I think it was an ankle. Before the first media timeout. So he played 4 minutes. And it was one of LSU's best performances of the year. That was 5 weeks ago. Ole Miss, different basketball team now. They're playing much better. But it is still a team that you've got institutional knowledge of, and you went up there and you handled before. So I've come across some creative schedulers in my time, but there is nothing whimsical about the way Will Wade schedules. Everything he does is with a specific purpose in mind.
If you ever have the opportunity and you can catch Will for 10 minutes, talk scheduling with him. I promise you, it'd be the best 10 minutes that you could have with him, because he will go through every angle of it, what he's thinking, why he wouldn't schedule this team, why he does schedule this team, and everything that goes behind it. And I'm talking about before the season, not even once you know who the teams are. He'll go back, hey, for the last 7 years, his team's won 20-plus games. I mean, he goes all into it and knows ins and outs of it.
Yeah, well, you'll look down at the schedule and you'll see, why are you playing Belmont? What's up with Belmont? And it'll tell you what, Belmont's got 4 starters coming back from a 21-win team a year ago, and they're favored to win whatever league it is Belmont's in. And it will be a very solid quad 2 win for us at the end of the season. It won't be one of those things. There's certain leagues that you have to avoid because they are NET killers. The Ivy League is one. The SWAC is another. The MEAC is another. The Patriot League is another. Most of the time, you might find 1 or 2 teams out of those leagues, but in general, those are going to be those 250 and back teams, and they're just going to, even if you win the game, you're not doing.
I'll tell you what, if you want to find one of those wins, it's like find a team that has like UNC in front of it, like UNC, Greensboro, Asheville. It's like those teams typically win like 20 games a year, and it's a good win.
It was almost UNC Chapel Hill. We've heard of them for sure. So today's NET for LSU has them down a couple of spots to 28, even though they haven't played this week. That's not this week. It's Tuesday. Doesn't it feel like later in the week than Tuesday?
Absolutely.
But we know this is a result of other teams playing and offensive and defensive efficiency ratings moving up and down. Latest bracketology has been updated, and Joe Lenardi has LSU as an 8 seed. Jerry Palm has LSU as an 8 seed. That's the good news. The bad news, and these are, when you talk about seeding, I think these are pretty precise. Lenardi and Palm are very, very good. When it comes to matchups, I think they're guessing. Okay, in other words, LSU is an 8 seed. Are they going to be matched up with a 1 seed in the second round? Is it Gonzaga? Is it Baylor? Is it Michigan? Is it right now Ohio State? They're guessing at that point. But both of them do have them in the same one, especially this year where nobody's got to travel anywhere different. Right. Everybody's going to the same place. Both of them have them playing Gonzaga in the which means to me they would probably be the weakest of the 4 8 seeds as we sit today. Right. That's fine. We got a ways to go.
It was a 10 seed last week. It's an 8 seed this week. Sign me up.
Yeah, it was a. We worried about it being a no seed.
A no seed. So, they were 11 3 weeks ago. They were supposed to play, match up with UCLA. They were in 11, so
they lose to Tennessee on Saturday. If they had lost to Tennessee on Saturday, we would still be sitting here talking about LSU as a bubble team that would have, and we didn't know at that time that they were going to be able to get Ole Miss schedule, but it's like, you know what, you got one more shot at this.
That's right.
To get a really, big win, and that would be at Arkansas. And
even that one wouldn't have been what Tennessee is, even though I think Arkansas is every bit as good as Tennessee. It's just the optics of it.
Yeah, it's close.
It is, but ranked team, and everybody's kind of putting Tennessee on a pedestal a little bit.
And Tennessee is 12. Actually, it's a little bit more than I thought. It's 12-25 today, so it is. There is a difference. Yeah, we would be talking about LSU dangerously sliding, and absolutely no way you can lose. Well, you couldn't lose to Vandy anyway. But you lose to Auburn or Georgia, you're going to be in real trouble. Now they're comfortably in. Little bit of slack in the rope, I think. Not that you want to test that, but I think that if you 4-1 gets you in, there's as long as the one isn't to Vanderbilt, that might make for a nervous moment. Now, even then, I still think you're getting in. If you beat Ole Miss, Auburn, Georgia, and Vandy, lose at Arkansas, you are in with room to spare. You are probably an 8 or a 9 at worst at that point.
Of course, you get a bye in the SEC tournament,
right?
Yeah.
And that's not counting the SEC tournament. That would send you to the SEC tournament with a safety net. It would send you there if you tank in the first round and you have a bad game and you're one and done. You're still in the tournament. Now you lose to one of those other teams. You lose to Georgia. You lose to Vandy would be. Now you're into danger territory. But if they beat Ole Miss on Thursday and they beat Auburn, who is slumping, and if they beat Georgia and Vandy, who they are better teams, then Georgia gave them all they wanted here, but that's a game. Still, it's a game you should win. A game with the overtime, and you lose at Arkansas, you're going to be fine. And then you would think with the double bye in the SEC tournament that you would not be facing a team that would crush you with a loss. If you lost to them, it would be to a Tennessee or an Arkansas or a Missouri, somebody that had a significant amount of NET equity built up.
A lot of positive momentum for the Tigers from even a week ago.
It's a big game Saturday. It was a big game Saturday, and Javonte Smart, who
deserved to get
the SEC player, for whatever reason has had some of his best games against Tennessee. I got curious with about 4 minutes to go, and I'm like, let me put these numbers together. And it's 23 points, 49% from the floor, 42% from three, and 4 rebounds, 4 assists. He's a box score stuffer against Tennessee. And the one that I put up there too was in the 3 games, he averaged 3 turnovers a game. Now, ordinarily, that's not a bad number for your primary ball handler, but only 3 against that pressure. I mean, Tennessee can play some defense. We're not talking about the Pelicans here. I mean, they can play some defense.
The Flying Frenchman.
3 turnovers being the primary ball handler for he probably played in the 3 games somewhere in the area, and it was an overtime in one of them. So he probably played somewhere in the area of 105 to 110 minutes. That's a number I can definitely live with.
I'm right there with you. I know we got to take a break. Quick update. The Belmont Bruins are actually 22-1 this year. They've won 19 games in a row, 16-0 in the Ohio Valley Conference.
There
you go. It's actually
Could you have done that before you looked it up?
I knew they were good. Didn't know they were in the Ohio Valley. Had no idea. I was going to say American. They're not in the American.
You'd asked me about Belmont. I told you that was an old hotel in Baton Rouge back in the day. Yep. We're brought to you by Richard's Honda, home of the warm and fuzzy feeling. Hanging with Hester and Hanny, 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
Hanging with Hester and Hanny.
All right, brought to you by Richard's Honda every single day. 360 new vehicles in stock. How do I know? Because it's right there on the homepage of richardshonda.com. You can search for new and used vehicles right there on the homepage. You can get pre-approved on the homepage. You can buy from home on the homepage. It's a 7-step process to get your vehicle delivered straight to your doorstep. All you have to do is fill out a little bit of information, get the pricing just right, add the features that you want, you compare the vehicles, and then at the end of it, they deliver the vehicle to you. But we always encourage you, go see them over at I-12 and Millerville. With over 700 new and pre-owned vehicles, they've got something for everyone: cars, hybrids, midsize, full-size SUVs, vans, trucks, you get it, they've got it. Richard's Honda, richardshonda.com, home of the warm and fuzzy feeling.
We opened up the playbook and expanded our coverage. Listen daily in high definition on 98.1 HD2. We are 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
Hey guys, this is Ryan Terrio with Mercedes-Benz of Baton Rouge, and you've got to come see us for the New Year's Certified Pre-Owned event. CPO vehicles come with an unlimited mileage warranty, and right now we're offering a 2-month payment credit up to $1,500, as well as 1.99% for 36 months on all eligible models. Check them out at mbobr.com or go see my guys Nick and Hess to take your new year up a gear. See dealer for complete details and exclusions. Qualified customers only. Subject to credit approval by NBFS. Must take delivery by March 1st, 2021.
Have you been issued a ticket for texting, speeding, or other traffic violations? Have you made a mistake? We all have. You're not a bad person. Call the law offices of O.C. Brown at 225-343-1111 or connect with us online at ocbrown.com.
This isn't just another day. It's so much more. Kelly's life was put on hold when her auctioneer primary care doctor discovered a rare blood disorder. Her doctor connected her to an auctioneer care team of cancer, heart, and kidney specialists. With multiple primary care locations around Baton Rouge, same-day appointments, and online scheduling, we're relentless about keeping you healthy. Auctioneer Baton Rouge, innovating healthcare for Kelly.
Acura of Baton Rouge for attractive offers on the MDX.
Can you feel it? Spring is almost here, and if you got a new boat for Christmas or you just want to take your boat to a new level, you want front-to-back boat service, HD displays, live sonar that show the fish before you cast, trolling motors. At Front to Back, they got not one, but two NMEA certified techs for all of your marine electronic needs. How does a brand new speaker system sound? Well, guess what? They do that too. So call 225-928-9644 or go to Front to Back Boat Service.
Service Master Elite create clean, disinfected work environments. As a local business, we take pride in serving the New Orleans and Baton Rouge areas. Our cleaning protocols follow CDC and OSHA standards for healthcare settings, offices, senior living, restaurants, and industrial plants. Contact Service Master Elite to get your operation ready for reopening with germ disinfection cleaning. Service Master Elite, the trusted choice in professional cleaning since 1996.
At Corvette Toyota in Opelousas, Happy Town USA, $2,000 can get you into a new Camry for $299 a month. That's $299 per month. So come on down to Happy Town. That's Corvette.
Coming up on Wednesdays Off the Bench, Nick Underhill stops by for the latest on Saints season, what they're going to do about the cap and quarterback. Plus, we recap John Morant versus Zion. Musso previews LSU baseball, and a brand new Would You Rather Wednesday. Off the Bench, 104.5 ESPN.
Hangin' with Hester and Hanny on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge and 1130 The Tiger.
Yes. There's some good questions out of the Bayou Ford chat in regards to LSU and the NCAA tournament, the seeding, and some of the things that are going on. This one's from Bernard. He said, did the Mississippi State loss to Vandy hurt LSU badly or not really? The answer is it hurt a little bit, but not really. And here's why. Mississippi State was a quadrant one win when LSU entered the building, and they weren't when LSU left. Now, they didn't get knocked down to the point of no return, but they were a quadrant two win when LSU beat them. The difference was that they were within shouting distance of going back to quadrant one. You know, if they'd won a couple games. The loss to Vanderbilt, and that cutoff point is 75. So they were within, I think 2 days later, they were within something like 4 to 5 slots. That's doable.
Right.
The Vanderbilt loss knocked them all the way down to today they are 94.
Right.
So climbing back to inside the top 75 is not altogether realistic. So the answer is they're the exact same win for LSU after the Vanderbilt loss as they were before. The difference is they don't really have the chance. Had Mississippi State beaten Vanderbilt, they would have still been within shouting distance of being able to move that win back up. So my answer is a very qualified maybe.
And LSU right now is not at the point where that one is their focus.
No.
They can focus more on what they did against Arkansas and Ole Miss, and now they can focus on what they did because they beat a good team, because they have another opportunity in Ole Miss. And so they don't, like, if they lost a Tennessee game, this is probably a bigger discussion as far as what Mississippi State did. But now, since you have another victory, quad one victory against Tennessee, you can kind of move forward and not have to look back.
Second question was which mid-major team, if you like mid-majors at this time of year going into bracket busters, Belmont, Winthrop, or Liberty? I've seen Winthrop play once because they were a Jimmy actually put me to watching the game one time.
Yep.
He had a game on, and we were watching because the undefeated streak, I think, got to 18, but they were pretty much 500, maybe a game below 500 against the numbers, so they weren't doing what Drake was doing there for a while, which was winning and covering pretty much every night. So I looked up Belmont, Liberty, Winthrop, and the schedules, and by far, although they have the worst record of the three, Liberty has played Missouri, they have played Purdue, and they've beaten Mississippi State. So if you're looking at level of competition of the three, Liberty is the best. That being said, teams like that, we already know before the NCAA tournament starts that there's going to be probably, 4, 5 double-digit seeds advance to the second weekend. Usually you get somewhere around. So let's set the over-under at 4.5 of double-digit seeds that are going to make it to the second weekend. And those 12, there's a reason that the 12-5 is always a big upset line, and it's because that's where the at-larges usually fall off, and the automatic bid leagues, the very, very best of them, and these teams qualify, they end up a lot of times on that 12 line.
Right.
And it's like you end up going play a team that went in a normal year 28-2. It's like, the hell are these guys doing as a 12 seed? They're the best of the automatic qualifiers, but they didn't play necessarily very many Power 5 teams. So that's what you get there. And it's easier in a lot of cases for those teams in playing. A lot of people will tell you that they'd rather have a 6 than a 5 because they get that 11 seed. And those 11 seeds are a lot of times littered with Power 5 conference teams that finished 8th or 9th. They kind of limped into the tournament. They got in on a little bit. It's like, well, you can hear Vital. Well, it was 16-13, but look who they had to play. The Lakers, the Warriors, and the Celtics. That's the difference between 11 and 12.
All right, so give me the list of mid-majors who we think can make it.
Belmont, Winthrop, and Liberty was the three that they asked about.
I'll take
but
Gonzaga. We said mid-majors. Give me Gonzaga.
They don't qualify. Right?
West Coast Conference. It's a mid-major conference. What are you talking about?
But they play a Power 5 schedule. They just do it in November, December.
Right. Hey, now I will say, all jokes aside, if you're looking at a mid-major that could make a run, Loyola Chicago is a really good basketball team.
Now, I did watch them against Drake. I didn't see the first game where they blew Drake out, but I was flipping back and forth on Sunday. Yeah, Drake beat them by a point, 51-50 in overtime. It was a barn burner. There was a point in the game where it was 42-32 with 7.5 minutes to go, Loyola, and they beat them by 25 the day before. And I thought to myself, I don't know if Drake's going to get to 42. I mean, they had literally scored 32 points in 32 minutes of a college basketball game. To their credit, they went on a run. They got the game tied. They got it to overtime. They got a couple of defensive stops in the overtime, and they won the game by a point. I didn't watch any of the game on Saturday, but I know Loyola blew them out. I watched a lot of the game on Sunday. Drake won. Give them credit. Loyola is the much better team.
They are. I agree with that.
Of those. And Drake's got a great record, and nothing against them. They could very easily win a game in this tournament. They could be one of those double-digit seeds that ends up in the second weekend, but Loyola is better than them. A matchup problem or whatever, but they are better than them.
This is going to be a year, and I know we have them every year, as you mentioned, but this feels like a year, Hanny, where we're going to have multiple mid-major teams beat those Power 5 conference teams at a higher clip just because – the scheduling's been so weird, and it's hard to really gauge how good some of the both Power 5 and the mid-major teams truly are. Like, I think it's kind of difficult that these mid-majors are going back-to-back games against the same opponent.
It's bizarre scheduling out of necessity. What I saw when the NCAA released their top 4 lines on Saturday, and what I'm seeing recognized with both Palm and Lenardi is they are not going to penalize teams for games not played. Baylor has taken a 3-week hiatus. So has Michigan. And by the way, if you saw Michigan on Sunday, they dilly-dallied for about 15 minutes of that game, and then they lit the pilot light, and the score wasn't as indicative of how much Michigan controlled that game in Madison, and that ain't an easy place to play. Michigan is still on the one line. Baylor is still on the one line, despite the fact that they haven't played nearly as many games. What I heard from the analysts and what I saw from the actual bracketology itself is we will judge you on what you did, not what you were unable to do. And I think that's fair. I don't think that you can go to Michigan and say, you know what, you guys had a COVID outbreak, you missed 3 weeks of games, so we're going to dock you down to the 3 line because you missed 5 or 6 games. Well, that's not their fault. I was pleased to see that. I would like to see if it's at all possible to also reward the teams that were able to play a lot of games. You know, Belmont's got 23 games on the schedule, 22-1. Yeah. I'd love to see them rewarded for doing that and winning all those games. But I did not see teams get significantly docked for time off.
Yeah, and I don't think you can. This is not anything that they can control, and sometimes it's the other team. It's not your team, right? It's not like you went out and you did something to get into trouble and you can't fulfill your part of the schedule. Sometimes it's the other team. So, yeah, I'm completely with you. I'm glad they're not taking points away from these teams that have deserved to be at the top.
Back to the board here. It says, Hanny, why wouldn't every team just go full court press against LSU constantly? First of all, a lot of teams aren't equipped to do that. It's not in their defensive philosophy. So that's the first thing I would tell you.
You don't draw West Virginia in the tournament.
Right.
Huggy Bear is going
But the question's a legitimate one because my question on Saturday was when you see Watford struggling and he cannot bring the ball up by himself against pressure. Javonte Smart can. Mm-hmm. Smart is capable of breaking double teams. He's capable of getting the ball up the floor with a lot less help than Watford is. It's not Watford's fault. He's 6 inches taller than Smart is. He's not. He can certainly handle a ball, and I think his handles in the lane are among the best I've seen in the conference this year. But against the press, he struggles. And
we talked about that 2 months ago.
Right. So I was curious when he turned the ball over. I think it was 3 times in 4 trips. It's like, get the ball to one, because he's better. And then they came up with that Big Ben inbounds play or whatever you want to call it that was kind of creative and got him in there. So I would tell you that, number one, some teams just aren't equipped to do that. And number two, I would expect when LSU sees pressure that they would revert more to Smart as a primary ball handler.
Yeah, I think when you look at it, can Watford do it and do it well? Yeah, in certain areas of the court, but even Gaines, like, he did a better job once he got the ball when they were trying to full court press at one point in the game. So, look, there's a reason that those guards handled the ball every time down the court. And so if you can get it to 124, or, a true ball handler, like, that's going to be better because it's something where teams are starting to notice it. LSU struggled with inbound plays this year. I mean, we saw it cost them a game.
They are going to see pressure. I mean, are they going to see 40 minutes of hell like Arkansas back in the day? Yeah. I can't tell you that. Not everybody's equipped to do that. But are they going to see pressure? Yes. And I think that you saw some adjustments that they made, and I think probably one of the biggest adjustments is, hey, they go to that, Smart's going to be the guy that's got to help the most on that. We're brought to you by Richards Honda, home of the warm and fuzzy feeling. Hanging with Hester and Hanny, 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
Hanging with Hester and Hanny.
Patient Plus, and there's 6 locations here in Baton Rouge and the Baton Rouge area. Get in and get better. With this cold, there's all kind of things that can happen to you. You can get a regular cold. You can get strep. You can run fever. Any of the Hester boys fall on the ice.
Close calls.
You get some things that might need stitching. You get some things that might need an X-ray. You'll have a broken bone. Whatever your ailment, Patient Plus will get you in, get you seen, and get you better.
Bring us your snotty sniffles, breaks, and aches. That is one of the slogans over at Patient Plus because they can do so many things that not every urgent care clinic can do. Hanny mentioned at 6 locations across the Baton Rouge area. You can also check in online at patientplusuc.com. That is another convenient thing they offer you. Again, check in online or visit them at one of their 6 convenient locations. That's patientplusuc.com. Get in and get better.
In times of need, get a full list of phone numbers, websites, and other important emergency information on the Demco Stormwatch page at 1045ESPN.com.
Hey guys, this is Ryan Terrio with Mercedes-Benz of Baton Rouge, and you've got to come see us for the New Year's Certified Pre-Owned event. CPO vehicles come with an unlimited mileage warranty, and right now we're offering a 2-month payment credit up to $1,500, as well as 1.99% for 36 months on all eligible models. Check them out at mbobr.com or go see my guys Nick and Hess to take your new year up a gear. See dealer for complete details and exclusions. Qualified customers only. Subject credit approval by NBFS. Must take delivery by March 1st, 2021.
This is a house call. This is a follow-up appointment. This is a diabetes checkup. This isn't just more convenient care, it's more advanced care. This is innovating healthcare at Louisiana's #1 hospital, Auctioner.
50 years ago on Easter Sunday, Breck's Baton Rouge Zoo proudly opened our doors, and we've been hopping ever since. 5 decades of connecting people with animals, teaching our community about the problems facing wildlife and how we can help, and working with zoos across the world to protect endangered species. Today, our future is taking flight by stretching the possibilities of what your zoo can become, while we keep it fun and affordable for everyone. Thanks for coming along.
At All-Star Toyota, you get it all. If you're in the market for an all-new Toyota vehicle, come see our friendly and knowledgeable sales team at All-Star Toyota. Located in Baton Rouge at the corner of Airline and Goodwood, we've been serving our community since 2005 by offering a large selection of new Toyota cars, trucks, and SUVs. Get behind the wheel of your dream car and take a test drive at All-Star Toyota today.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals, but many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
Are you a licensed contractor? There's lots of good contractors in Louisiana doing work the right way, but unfortunately, too many unlicensed contractors are working outside the licensing requirements. Working as a contractor in Louisiana requires a license for the company doing the work. The Louisiana State Licensing Board for Contractors wants to help you get licensed to allow you to conduct work legally. It's not difficult to get the license. We can help you. Go to lacontractor.org for more information. Licensed contractors, it's the law.
Gulf Coast.
Yo, join us for a Tuesday edition of Hanging with Hester and Hanny, presented by Richards Honda from noon to 3. We'll get a chance to recap LSU versus Tennessee on the hardwood and continue to preview to LSU baseball. Join us on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
Hangin' with Hester and Hanny on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge and 1130 The Tiger.
Hanny, I know it doesn't feel like it, but today is actually Mardi Gras.
It does. I got sent a picture this morning, and somebody had put Mardi Gras beads on their tires to make them look like chains and said, "Will this work?" Not really.
So I'll ask you this real quick. We put a tier list together this morning on flavors of king cakes. So I know this is going to hurt you. Chocolate ended up in the C tier, so it's S, A, B, C, D. Okay. And I said Handy's going to be mad at this, but they
S, A, B, C. I mean, I know the S is top. What does the S stand for?
It's we'll find out.
Super, superlative.
Sure, not like all those. So how do you feel about the chocolate king cake being in the C?
Listen,
the OG, the originals in the top slot.
King cake is something that is incredibly difficult to screw up. I mean, it's bread and sugar at its heart. It's bread and sugar. Okay, so if you don't overcook the bread and you put the sugar where it's supposed to be, I mean, the filling, you can go with no filling. It's more of a matter. A good chocolate king cake is delicious. The cream cheese
I've never had a chocolate, but you make it sound really good.
What can I tell you? You put it in the microwave for 30 seconds. The chocolate melts a little bit. I mean, it's chocolate on bread with sugar on the top.
I'm with
what's
you.
bad about that?
I mean, I'm going to go OG original, like with a cup of coffee. Is hard to beat.
No. The original is great. We had a lot of cream cheese. Cream cheese was a popular down there. By the way, I'm supposed to be at a parade here in about 30 minutes. This would ordinarily be a day that I was off.
I forgot about that.
Well, I mean, Mardi Gras, of course, was canceled down in my hometown the same way it was just about everywhere. Or no, not just about everywhere. And this was parade day. This was a big celebratory breakfast day. And I did not get grits and grillage this morning. I'm not happy. Every Mardi Gras grits and grillage.
I had it like about 2 weeks ago.
Ain't nothing wrong with that either.
No.
Grits and grillage and little king. Man, look, that's just really.
And now
really
I've
good.
made the show sad, so I'll pick it back up. Small Sliders is open, by the way. We just got that message.
I'm going to confirm that on the way home. I got a good idea.
I got to do some boots on the ground research here. I got to make sure that they're open. So slide on through. We just got that word. They're open.
LSU I've got a schedule change or a schedule announcement for the basketball team.
Okay.
Drum roll, please. You're all expecting this to be the Ole Miss game. No, LSU will be playing in the Emerald Coast Classic in Florida with Oregon State, Penn State, and Wake Forest in November. It made the front page. they sent me an email. They sent me a
Oregon State, Penn State, and Wake Forest?
Yes. This will be in November. This is Thanksgiving weekend. Northwest Florida State College. Look, I'm sure that Will Wade has already looked at this, and Oregon State, Penn State, and Wake Forest are all probably top 50 teams next year.
Okay.
Projected to be
Wake
top
Forest
50.
got a new coach. They got a little bit of something to them, but
Let me tell you something.
Interesting quartet.
They pull it off. The Thanksgiving tournaments this year went kaplooey. So let's talk about it like in terms that it's going to actually
it's
happen.
a long way away, but I take my drum roll back for now. Take it back.
No, it wasn't.
Take it back.
It wasn't very good. A couple of questions, and I'm gonna address this now. But we talked about it last Friday. Today is the last day that Jacob and I are going to do a show together. I've had a minor complication due to my hip replacement surgery that I've got to get taken care of. So I will be out the next 2 days, and I'll be back on Friday. Right. Jake is doing every shift between now and then, I think.
Yes.
Solo in some cases, by yourself. You're just pretty much here around the clock.
Yes. So tomorrow
that wasn't the way we planned it. That's just the way it worked out.
Tomorrow I'll have 7 to 10 on OTB. I'll have this show from 12 to 3, and I'll have SEC Today from 3 to 5.
That's a lot.
It's some talking.
And if I didn't have to do something that involved general anesthesia and a scalpel tomorrow, I'd be here helping you. But unfortunately, I got to go back.
Maybe here's what I might do. Since Hunt owes me a steak dinner, maybe I can barter. Like, hey, I'll give up the steak dinner if you come and host for me on Thursday.
Right. But Friday is the official launch.
It is
of OTB with you and T-Bob. And on Friday, I will be back, and it is the opening day of baseball season.
You're not excited about that, are you?
I'm hoping they can get out there,
Yeah.
and it's not the weather's not too inclement. I will have a we went through all this on Friday, but for those of you that missed it, it's worth repeating. We will have a rotating group of co-hosts that will be in with me, and Ronnie Rance will be in here first on Friday because. Well, Jumbo's my he's a baseball guy.
I miss seeing Ronnie, man. I used to have Ronnie every Monday on the show.
Well, Ronnie's going to be a part of our rotation. He's going to be with us a couple times a week. Jimmy will be doing some shows. Han will be doing some shows. So we'll rotate it until such a time as we find a permanent replacement. So that's the schedule, just to kind of let you know where we are. A little bit,
Right.
and the reason. Listen, yesterday was rough. You got in here very early, I believe. You got in here before 6 or
Yes.
before. Okay, so you were in to do your serious show, and you were stuck here, or just
yesterday. So yesterday I had a couple things, and then the connections weren't all connecting. Because I still don't understand how I'm in Baton Rouge, Doring's in Gainesville, and our producer's in D.C. I don't know how that goes down.
Yeah.
But I was able to do OTB yesterday. So I was here for a purpose, and then
Right.
they were like, "Hey, y'all got to go home because I don't know if y'all can get home if y'all don't go home."
Yeah, that was, and for everybody else, it was could you exactly get here? So that's why yesterday got shut down. But we were able to get through all of that, and we'll have normal day today. Can we call it today a normal day?
Yeah, it's normal. I mean, Hunt's going to be
Some-
here in about 21 minutes from now, so that's a normal Tuesday.
He won't bring food. That's definitely
That's
normal.
definitely normal. You
Mhm.
didn't bring me any rice.
I didn't bring you any rice. That
Last
should have been my
show-
parting gift to you. I should have. Lance, you out there? You listen?
Say, Lance.
Knock on the door. We will take a break. Hanging with Hester and Hanny is brought to you by Richard Tonda, home of the warm and fuzzy feeling. 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
Hangin' with Hester and Hanny. Off the Bench, Hangin' with Hester and Hanny, after further review and more, are all live daily on the 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge YouTube channel. Subscribe now to interact with us inside the live chat driven by Bayou Ford.
Visit Acura of Baton Rouge for attractive offers on the MDX.
Can you feel it? Spring is almost here, and if you got a new boat for Christmas or you just want to take your boat to a new level, you want front-to-back boat service, HD displays, live sonar that show the fish before you cast, trolling motors. At front to back, they got not one, but two NMEA certified techs for all of your marine electronic needs. How does a brand new speaker system sound? Well, guess what? They do that too. So call 225-928-9644 or go to front to back boat service.
This isn't just another day. It's so much more. Kelly's life was put on hold when her auctioneer primary care doctor discovered a rare blood disorder. Her doctor connected her to an auctioneer care team of cancer, heart, and kidney specialists. With multiple primary care locations around Baton Rouge, same-day appointments, and online scheduling, we're relentless about keeping you healthy. Auctioneer Baton Rouge, innovating healthcare for Kelly.
Hey guys, this is Ryan Terrio with Mercedes-Benz of Baton Rouge, and you've got to come see us for the New Year's Certified Pre-Owned event. CPO vehicles come with an unlimited mileage warranty, and right now we're offering a 2-month payment credit up to $1,500, as well as 1.99% for 36 months on all eligible models. Check them out at mbobr.com or go see my guys Nick and Hess to take your new year up a gear. See dealer for complete details and exclusions. Qualified customers only. Subject credit approval by NBFS. Must take delivery by March 1st, 2021.
50 years ago on Easter Sunday, Breck's Baton Rouge Zoo proudly opened our doors, and we've been hopping ever since. 5 decades of connecting people with animals, teaching our community about the problems facing wildlife and how we can help, and working with zoos across the world to protect endangered species. Today, our future is taking flight by stretching the possibilities of what your zoo can become, while we keep it fun and affordable for everyone. Thanks for coming along.
At All-Star Toyota, you get it all. If you're in the market for an all-new Toyota vehicle, come see our friendly and knowledgeable sales team at All-Star Toyota. Located in Baton Rouge at the corner of Airline and Goodwood, we've been serving our community since 2005 by offering a large selection of new Toyota cars, trucks, and SUVs. Get behind the wheel of your dream car and take a test drive at All-Star Toyota today.
Hey, it's Matt Moscona. We're going to thaw out today. Hopefully you do the very same. And we'll be back in studio Tuesday for AFR, presented by Insurance Network of Louisiana. Join us then 3 to 6, 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
Hangin' with Hester and Hanny on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge and 1130 The Tiger.
We are brought to you in part by Supreme Rice. Hunker down with the cold, make a big pot of something, goes a long way. Make it with Supreme Rice. We did gumbo on Sunday. That turned out really well. Nice job, Trace. I chopped stuff, it's helping. But it's always with Supreme Rice in our house and should be at yours too, whether it's the brown, the long grain, or the jasmine. You can get Supreme Rice at all your Walmarts, all your Costco's, any of your AG food dealers. Support our Louisiana farmers. It was a rough go for it for them last fall down in Crowley, Louisiana. But since the 1930s, they've been growing, milling, and processing Supreme Rice right there in Crowley in southwest Louisiana. So for your next gumbo, your next etouffee, your next rice and gravy, make it Supreme Rice. Stretch your food dollar at the same time that you get great taste. For more information and super recipes, go to supremerice.com. Awful story, and this one hit you particularly hard yesterday when former wide receiver Vincent Jackson was found dead in a Florida hotel room. He was only 38 years old. He played for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, but before that he played for the then San Diego Chargers. He was a teammate of yours and somebody you knew very well.
No, he was, and this one hurts, and I talked about it a little bit this morning, but this was a guy that grew up in Leesville, Louisiana at Fort Polk. He was a military child, but both his parents were in the military, and he's done fantastic things with his foundation for military families, Jackson in Action 83 Foundation. And he really welcomed me to the NFL with open arms. When I first got to San Diego, our lockers were right by each other, and he had spent so much time in Louisiana. I mean, we're talking elementary, middle school, so some important years in his life where he grew up in Louisiana. So we had common things to talk about, and he knew some of the places and that around Baton Rouge and other places that we could, have common interests there, and was so good to me when I first got there. Hey, do you need anything? Hey, you need a ride? Hey, playbook got you. You got any questions? And took that time. And so we had a great relationship. He was a fantastic teammate, an outstanding football player. And this one hurts because it's always unexpected when someone passes away at 38, but someone like this even more so. I mean, dedicated father, husband, businessman, philanthropist. I mean, he had done so many great things in the community. Went back and got his degree from South Florida in business and was the Walter Payton Man of the Year for the Buccaneers 4 straight years. I mean, that kind of guy. And we don't know the details. I don't know what's going to come out. Obviously there's some stuff that's around the situation that we don't know. And like I said, that will come out. But regardless of that, just devastating news to hear someone that young, that impactful, and someone who I always appreciated what he did for me to pass away, 38 years old.
You think he picked you because of the Louisiana connection? Because not all veterans, a lot of veterans, at least the stories I've heard, you can correct me, like, hey, Rook, you're on your own,
Yeah.
I got my own.
There's definitely some guys in the locker room that will do that, but our lockers were by each other, and like I said, he knew, like he would always bring up something about Louisiana, or he said, "What you know about whatever it was, right? What you know about crawfish? You don't know nothing about." And then we get into the conversation, and it was a quick bond for me. I'm like, man, this guy, this a pretty big time player for him to endear himself to me, and so our relationship started right when I walked in the locker room. And like I said, like this is the ultimate teammate. This is the guy that you want to be the face of your franchise. And he had done, go look it up. Go look at what his foundation was able to do for military families, him and his wife. And it was every single year they had so many events surrounding military families. And this is a shocking one. It is completely shocking. Apparently been in a hotel room for over a month. And like I said, we don't know the details of that. I'm sure those will come out in the next couple of days. But I can just tell you my relationship with him, teammates, anybody he came in contact with. I'm talking about San Diego or Tampa. I had a lot of Tampa Bay people reach out to me, said, man, this guy was unbelievable while he was here. So he continued it throughout his entire NFL career.
You remember him in high school? You guys aren't terribly far apart in age. How did he end up at Northern Colorado?
So he moved from Leesville in middle school, moved up to Colorado.
Oh, okay.
His parents got transferred up there. So that's how he ended up at Northern Colorado. Obviously a lower level, but he got invited to the Senior Bowl, second-round pick. I mean, he tore it up at that level. And, so back then, it was kind of hard if you transferred like that. Like if you didn't really have, a book out on a kid, like you didn't really know him from a freshman or whatever, and he transfers and moves across the country, and you didn't have the eyeballs and the huddle tape and all the things to follow a recruit. So that's how he ends up at Northern Colorado. He played basketball there as well. So that was something that he was interested in, playing both sports.
Over 1,000 yards 6 times in his NFL career, and 3 Pro Bowls to go along with that. Vincent Jackson was only 38 years old. Terrible story. When we come back at the top of the hour, we got we had coaching news yesterday with Gus Malzahn and going to Central Florida.
Yeah.
And my first thought was Central Florida has drawn a little bit of the ire of the rest of the college football world. It's sort of the, hey, we belong. No, you don't. I mean, none more. LSU has never had more support from outside the LSU community in a bowl game than when they played Central Florida. I really believe that. Even when they played some of those Nebraska teams, they've never had more support, because it was like, will somebody go and just shut those people up, because we've had it, and the program, frankly, had been sliding. First thing I heard when they hired Gus, like, it's a pretty good move. It's a pretty good move.
Well, some rumors out there had Gene Chizik tied to that job, because Gene had spent time there as a coordinator, and obviously now he's in the TV world on the SEC network, and a lot of people said, hey, maybe Gene would be interested. And so it's funny that Gus ends up being the one that gets the job. And I know UCF beat Gus and Auburn a couple years ago in the Peach Bowl, but look at where Josh Heupel's career was going, right? Their wins went down every year he was there after Scott Frost had that run. And I think you could argue that Central Florida ended up better, losing their coach to Tennessee.
There's no question in my mind that they did. Now, I don't know about the athletic director. I thought Danny White had done some decent things over there, but unimpressed with what he did. He took the easy way out on a Tennessee hire. It made me wonder, did Tennessee ever really think about going because when you get a guy that's been fired, you're just going to take so much criticism. Okay, USC, when Pete Carroll was hired, and I mean, I know that's the ultimate example, but you got one right here, Ed Orgeron. Man, the only time that guy had a head coach job, he got fired. Well, we think he's the best. There is nobody that could have compared resumes and told me that Jeremy Pruitt was a better coach than Gus Malzahn.
Right.
There is not one shred of evidence to suggest that Pruitt was better than Malzahn, nor is there any evidence to prove that Josh Heupel is better than Gus Malzahn. We had this problem back in the late 90s when LSU was looking to replace Jerry DiNardo. And it was, would you hire Tommy Tuberville? And Ole Miss guy, and he went to Auburn. This was the year before, actually, because he beat LSU in '99, and then it was the cigars. And I was like, that's a really bad reason not to hire a guy, because he came in and beat your ass. Okay, in fact, he did it 3 years in a row, twice with Ole Miss and once with Auburn. But I don't want that guy. Well, now LSU ended up, kind of falling backwards into Nick Saban a little bit, so it worked out for them. But Gus Malzahn getting fired at Auburn is a bad reason not to hire him if you're Tennessee.
Oh, look!
Given what you got,
look, your rival that you have to play, he beat him 3 times. Now that he's out of the conference, if I'm not mistaken, and correct me if I'm wrong, Coach O's the only one with a win over Nick Saban in the conference.
Yeah, because the other since 13,
Hugh Freeze
is gone, and if you go back
Gus
before that,
out.
and before that it was Spurrier had one from
And
South
Les,
Carolina.
and obviously Les isn't here.
And Les is gone. Yeah.
So one coach. Well, he did it 3 times. So
and everybody wants to hire Hugh Freeze, and
Yeah, right.
And the commissioner won't let him.
If I'm Tennessee, man, that guy beat the team that we got to play every year. All right. Were they like 68-37, I think, or something around that?
He won right at 60% of his conference games. The one thing he said at the press conference, I didn't listen to the whole thing, but I went through the article on it. He says, "I'm calling plays, and I'm never relinquishing that job again." And at that point, I was like, I've been waiting to hear you say that at Auburn for 5 years. I mean, he tried. It was Rhett Lashley. It was, oh gosh, help me out. The guy 2 years ago. Anyway.
And Chad Morris last year.
Chad Morris, yeah. It's like, Gus, you do this really well.
Yeah.
And it's your ass on the line.
Yeah.
Call plays.
That's why you got the job.
That's why you got the job. We're going to run tempo, have a mobile quarterback. Have at it, boss. Yeah. I mean, so if I was Central Florida, I would have been really happy when he said that.
I got to go let Hunt in. He's cold.
Hour number 2, Hanging with Hester and Hanny, 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
Hangin' with Hester and Hanny.
This is a house call. This is a follow-up appointment. This is a diabetes checkup. This isn't just more convenient care, it's more advanced care. This is innovating healthcare at Louisiana's #1 hospital, Auctioner.
Acura of Baton Rouge for attractive offers on the MDX.
Gulf Coast Office Products is a nationally recognized Savin office equipment dealer based right here in Louisiana. Over 100 employees strong, Gulf Coast has the boots on the ground to support all vertical markets, from education, engineering, legal, and finance. With the latest in office technology, from desktop to production segment units, Gulf Coast and Savin have the perfect fit for you. Call 225-756-2644. That's 756-2644 for Gulf Coast Office Products.
Are you a licensed contractor? There's lots of good contractors in Louisiana doing work the right way, but unfortunately, too many unlicensed contractors are working outside the licensing requirements. Working as a contractor in Louisiana requires a license for the company doing the work. The Louisiana State Licensing Board for Contractors wants to help you get licensed to allow you to conduct work legally. It's not difficult to get the license. We can help you. Go to lacontractor.org for more information. Licensed contractors, it's the law.
ServiceMaster Elite create clean, disinfected work environments. As a local business, we take pride in serving the New Orleans and Baton Rouge areas. Our cleaning protocols follow CDC and OSHA standards for healthcare settings, offices, senior living, restaurants, and industrial plants. Contact ServiceMaster Elite to get your operation ready for reopening with germ disinfection cleaning. ServiceMaster Elite, the trusted choice in professional cleaning since 1996.
Can you feel it? Spring is almost here, and if you got a new boat for Christmas or you just want to take your boat to a new level, you want front-to-back boat service, HD displays, live sonar that show the fish before you cast, trolling motors. At front to back, they got not one, but 2 NMEA certified techs for all of your marine electronic needs. How does a brand new speaker system sound? Well, guess what? They do that too. So call 225-928-9644 or go to front to back boat service.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals, but many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
Hey guys, this is Ryan Terrio with Mercedes-Benz of Baton Rouge, and you've got to come see us for the New Year's Certified Pre-Owned event. CPO vehicles come with an unlimited mileage warranty, and right now we're offering a 2-month payment credit up to $1,500, as well as 1.99% for 36 months on all eligible models. Check them out at mbobr.com or go see my guys Nick and Hess to take your new year up a gear. See dealer for complete details and exclusions. Qualified customers only. Subject to credit approval by NBFS. Must take delivery by March 1st, 2021.
Callahan Injury Lawyers. Hangin' with Hester and Hanny on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge and 1130 The Tiger.
We're brought to you by Richard's Honda, home of the warm and fuzzy feeling, which it is definitely not in here. I got I got my Huntism.
Ridiculous.
I got my Huntism for to start the show today.
Good.
To start his hour. Hunt thinks it's warmer here.
Yeah. Poor guy didn't have power. He thought, I'm gonna go to Guarantee and get warm. Nope, not gonna get
it's
warm.
It's warmer
in
here than it is in my house. My house is not pleasant right now.
I'm getting
not at
mad.
all.
Like I'm actually getting kind of mad.
Because, okay, so let me explain what's going on here with Hester because he's pretty steamed. We have power in this room in the building, and I believe on the first floor, and that's it. That's what's on the generator power. Everything else is out. And Hester, during the break, found out that this means that he, A, can't make coffee.
Nope.
And B, has also knocked out the vending machine. So there's nothing he can do to warm himself up.
I've been here for like what, 7 hours? Yeah, 7 hours.
Yeah.
No morsels of food because I thought the vending machine would be on, or at least I'd be able to fill my stomach with some coffee.
Didn't you play at Arkansas? I mean, against Arkansas in like ridiculous cold.
I played in
for
Denver.
the Broncos.
Okay.
Yeah, the last game I played in Denver was -7. So,
all right, so
I was getting paid a lot of money to do that, though.
So it's a little bit cooler in the building today than it normally is, and it's normally pretty doggone cold. Hon, how you doing?
I'm not great.
For a guy that's getting married in a few days.
Well, look, that's great. But look, you don't want to be a hypocrite. You don't want to be contradictory when you're on the air and just in day-to-day life. And whenever I'm at the golf course in July and August and people complain about how hot it is, or even the football games in September when people are complaining that it's really hot, I am very adamant, and I say this. I save all my complaining for January and February. Right. 0 from me when it's 104 outside. So this week, I'm complaining. My house is so cold. Right. I slept in 2 jackets last night. I've got in the shower like 4 times. It's the only place there's warmth.
No fireplace?
No fireplace at the Casa de Palmer.
I mean, typically I don't want to give away where you live. I mean, those homes have fireplaces.
No fireplace. I mean, the stove works, and we were able to heat gumbo. I heated a soup yesterday. We made some hot chocolate, which was good, but it's not fun. I'm not having fun. We played Jenga for like an hour and a half yesterday.
Yeah. The fireplace is a big hit. Our fireplace, I don't think, has been off for the last 4 or 5 days. The only trick is you got to get in front of the fireplace. You got to beat the dogs there.
Oh,
because
I got to beat 4 little minions there.
the little dog pushed her bed with her nose, further closer. I mean, it's already by the fireplace. She's pushing it even closer. All right, Hunt. So, I mean, in the midst of all this cold and ice and stuff, the LSU basketball team got a monster win on Saturday. It was another big performance against Tennessee for Javonte Smart. It just did so many things: confidence building, NET building, momentum building. I'll let you take it from there, but it was one we talked about last week. Look, man, they really, really need this one, and they got it.
It was all those, and it was the eye test. I mean, they controlled the game. A couple times I felt they should have separated. Days had a wide-open 3 to make it 15 midway through the first half. Missed it. Tennessee came right back and hit a 3. Poof, it went from down to 9 from where it could have been 15 immediately. In the second half, they got another really good look at a layup for Watford. He missed it. Tennessee came right back down, hit a 3.
It's amazing. When you were tweeting that, I was thinking that, and I just my fingers don't, work fast. Like, my goodness, those were big, big swings to go to a 16-point lead or a 9-point lead, and it's immediately Tennessee answers. But they were able to weather those.
They were, and they were the better team on the floor, really start to finish. Thought they did a good job on the glass. Thought the defense early in the game was active for what they can be. You know, we're going to criticize that defense because it's not very good, but they do some things very well. And I thought Will Wade said something in his post game, and I like to take these little nuggets because I think they're interesting. But they had a game plan for Tennessee, and their game plan was, we believe LeBlanc can disrupt their ball handlers at the top of the offense, which is often off of a high ball screen, whether it's Vescovi, whether it's Spencer, whoever's got the ball, we think that LeBlanc can disrupt him. So we're going to put him on the screener every time and then run the switch immediately. And Tennessee struggled to get into a set offense, and we've seen that from Tennessee many times. They've played some games in the 50s, but I thought it was a really good adjustment, and it made them kind of out of kilter in the first half. Now, Tennessee kind of hit their stride a little bit in the second half, but LSU's offense continued to play well, and I thought Javonte was exceptional and was the best player on the floor.
So we had a question out of the chat in the first hour, which is, I mean, it was a little bit tongue-in-cheek, but the basis of the question was pretty good, which was, why doesn't every team press LSU, basically 40 minutes? And while that's not realistic for everybody, we know they're going to see more pressure because they've struggled with it. So they did a couple things. When Watford was struggling taking the ball at the floor, they got the ball in Javonte's hands more, and then they drew up that unique inbounds play where it looked like they were about to run a Big Ben, and it worked.
Yep.
In fact, it worked twice. So good. Will Wade knows that they're going to see more pressure. There's not great teams coming up on the schedule after Ole Miss, but they're going to see more pressure. And Jacob was talking about, well, what if they run into a West Virginia? Yeah. Well, then they're, you're going to see more pressure. So what are they going to do about them?
So there's a number of talking points there. First, yeah, they looked really bad against it, and when you knew it was going to be coming, and that is on LSU. The other part of that is you will not find a better top of the press defender than Yves Pons in the country. I mean, he's just so athletic, so disruptive.
And he had missed like 5 games.
He'd been out, but he was a defensive player of the year in the conference last year. That's what he does. So not everybody can replicate. It's like West Virginia. Not everybody can do that. The other part is that they had struggled getting the ball in bounds. They got the ball in bounds and then struggled once they got it in bounds. It's a new thing to work on. But they worked on the other thing and quote unquote fixed it. Yeah. They'll now go to work on this. The other part of it is Watford. And he was terrible. I mean, he traveled. He looked very uncomfortable. He's also looked very comfortable in that role, like against Texas A&M. They run a 3-quarter court press the entire game. Now, they're not very good, but they play very hard, and they do it. And they used Watford in the back of that to see over the top of the defense and make some quality decisions and be an outlet. He did a good job. He was just really bad for 3 minutes on Saturday. And no work on it.
When Hyatt tried to dunk on Pons, like, you have to rethink and you have to evaluate sometimes.
Rethink your angst there.
Yeah,
man. I don't want to rip on my boy Andre too much. He had a couple threes the other day.
He did. He did, and it was good to see. But life is about choices and decisions.
Yeah, that wasn't his best, but
to your point, I mean, no, he is a great defender, and it was good to see LSU do some things against a team in Tennessee that typically doesn't give that kind of stuff up. Right, there was a lot to like from LSU offensively. I thought Javonte, yet again, he might either he doesn't like the color orange or he really likes it. I can't really decide, but he elevates his play, and he's been elevating his play really over the last couple of games. We haven't talked about it because Cam is going to get some headlines because Darius Days is so important to this team, Hunt, as we've talked about. But Javonte has really raised his level of play over the last couple of weeks.
Well, he was the stalwart behind the run in the second half against Texas Tech. Yeah. Hit those 2 huge threes. He hit a big shot in the game at Mississippi State when Mississippi State had cut it to 3, and he hits a little step back that wasn't the best shot selection I've ever seen, but he knocked it down. And, I think he is never going to be the guy that some people want him to be because he's not Tremont Waters. But there have been multiple times this year against good basketball teams where he's been the best player on the floor, the most impactful guy out there. I'm just fine having one on my team.
Who realistically expected him to be Tremont Waters? Their games are nothing
right,
alike.
But it's not about Javonte. It's about not having Waters. And who's playing that position? Well, that's Javonte. It's not because they don't have a quote. I get it 3 times a week. They don't have a true point guard.
Oh man, look, there's a lot of teams that don't have. You could argue that Waters scored more than and took more shots than your traditional point guard. I mean, I think we kind of adjust our thinking into what a traditional point guard is in this, positionless game that we're playing now. I mean, a traditional point guard, the way a lot of people think about it, is antiquated thinking. It was a point guard that would come in and do what? Either penetrate or look to enter the ball into the low post.
Run a pick and roll.
Yeah, you're not gonna. They don't work inside out anymore. Yeah. I mean, this team does it. Very few teams do.
There was some merit to the thinking, and I admitted that as much when Cam and Javonte had combined in 2 games for 1 assist, and they're doing all the ball handling. Going, okay, the ball's not moving. So, but
that's a problem. Yeah.
But that has changed. Cam has had 4 assists in 2 games straight. Javonte had 11 against Mississippi State. They worked on that. Will Wade said it. He said, the ball's sticking. We got to move it, and it has for 2 games now.
You look at Smart's numbers against everybody but Alabama. Mm-hmm. Well, he had a bad game up against Kentucky. But just since we turned the calendar to February, the game on Saturday, he shot 80% against Mississippi State. He shot 67% against Texas Tech. He shot 59% against Texas A&M. He had a bad game against Bama. They all did. He's made all of his free throws. His 3-point percentage is up there in the mid-40s. He's not turning the ball over a ton, again, save the Alabama game. I know he had 5 turnovers on Saturday, but I'm inclined to give him a little bit of a break against Tennessee's pressure. That's why the stat I like better was he's averaging 3 turnovers per game in 3 years against Tennessee. When you got to handle the ball against that much pressure, and your teammates are a little bit disjointed at times when it comes to breaking that press, I wanted to give him a little bit of a break on that.
Yeah. And to kind of round it out is the things that you talked about right at the top there is it was a resume builder. I pointed out the eye test. I think there's something too, and Jacob, you can talk to this. There's something to the confidence factor. It's tough to have a ton of confidence after Texas Tech takes one out of your hands, and then you go get the doors blown off again against Alabama. And then you got to come back and you miss a game against Florida, and you hadn't played in a week. You hadn't won a game in 2 weeks. Now all of a sudden you can kind of bounce the ball on the floor and go, we're good. Like we can play.
Oh, this week did so much for their confidence. I mean, going on the road against Mississippi State, it doesn't seem like this big victory, but that got them back on track. And it was probably their one of, if not the most well-played game from everyone involved, right? So everybody kind of got involved in that game. And then you get the win that you've been searching for, right? It was a home win against a ranked opponent. And so now you have to take that confidence and you have to continue. And you got to keep it in every game, right? You got to keep the same thing against Georgia and Vanderbilt that you're going to against Arkansas and Ole Miss. Like, that's going to be the next step. Keep that confidence, but against every opponent, don't play down to your competition.
Jalapeno sausage and gumbo?
I would take any gumbo, sausage, anything right now. I'm so hungry.
We had a big breakthrough in the Palmer house this weekend.
You made
fiance, I love to make gumbo, and she likes the gumbo, but she's a little bit picky with her meat selection just across the board.
Okay.
She's a medium well girl. She picks at her chicken because that's sketchy medium or whatever. Well. Yeah, so she has determined in her brain somewhere along the line that she doesn't like andouille sausage. So I had to do a different kind of sausage, some kind of smoked sauce or something. But she said she wasn't eating gumbo this weekend because wedding diet wasn't going to do it. Well, it's freezing cold and the power went out. She said, well, I'll eat some gumbo. Okay. So I didn't say anything, but there was andouille in it. So she finished it, and I said,
gotcha.
Did you like the sausage? She's like, yeah, it's really good. I was like, you sure? Like, yeah, that's andouille.
Yeah.
It's going in gumbo every time now.
That's right.
Your cover's
well played,
blown.
Well
nice.
played.
Well, they're asking about a jalapeno sausage, which I like, by itself. In a gumbo? I don't know. Does that work? Not now. I know you're hungry.
I'd never tried that though. So.
I never even heard of that.
Look.
It's
I'm
interesting.
I'm up for it.
I'm intrigued.
Yes.
I want to know more.
Piqued my interest. Tell me more.
We'll take a break here. Hanging with Hester and Hanny, 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
Hanging with Hester and Hanny. Our listeners fire up their opinions on the jimsfirearms.net hotline at 499-1045. Keep listening for your next chance to shoot us your thoughts with the jimsfirearms.net hotline on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
Gulf Coast Office Products is a nationally recognized Savin office equipment dealer based right here in Louisiana. Over 100 employees strong, Gulf Coast has the boots on the ground to support all vertical markets, from education, engineering, legal, and finance. With the latest in office technology, from desktop to production segment units, Gulf Coast and Savin have the perfect fit for you. Call 225-756-2644. That's 756-2644 for Gulf Coast Office Products.
This isn't just another day. It's so much more. Kelly's life was put on hold when her auctioneer primary care doctor discovered a rare blood disorder. Her doctor connected her to an auctioneer care team of cancer, heart, and kidney specialists. With multiple primary care locations around Baton Rouge, same-day appointments, and online scheduling, we're relentless about keeping you healthy. Auctioneer Baton Rouge, innovating healthcare for Kelly.
50 years ago on Easter Sunday, Breck's Baton Rouge Zoo proudly opened our doors, and we've been hopping ever since. 5 decades of connecting people with animals, teaching our community about the problems facing wildlife and how we can help, and working with zoos across the world to protect endangered species. Today, our future is taking flight by stretching the possibilities of what your zoo can become, while we keep it fun and affordable for everyone. Thanks for coming along.
At All-Star Toyota, you get it all. If you're in the market for an all-new Toyota vehicle, come see our friendly and knowledgeable sales team at All-Star Toyota. Located in Baton Rouge at the corner of Airline and Goodwood, we've been serving our community since 2005 by offering a large selection of new Toyota cars, trucks, and SUVs. Get behind the wheel of your dream car and take a test drive at All-Star Toyota today.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals, but many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
Are you a licensed contractor? There's lots of good contractors in Louisiana doing work the right way, but unfortunately, too many unlicensed contractors are working outside the licensing requirements. Working as a contractor in Louisiana requires a license for the company doing the work. The Louisiana State Licensing Board for Contractors wants to help you get licensed to allow you to conduct work legally. It's not difficult to get the license. We can help you. Go to lacontractor.org for more information. Licensed contractors, it's the law.
Join me, Jimmy Ott, for the Tuesday night edition of Game Time, live from Doe's Eat Place on Government Street in the heart of Mid-City. Crunching the numbers and giving you updates. Game Time, 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
Hangin' with Hester and Hanny on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge and 1130 The Tiger.
How's the 3-1 grade, boys? How's your people? It's considerably more north there than it is. I would imagine.
Oh, don't chill out with it. Considerably far north. It's like 3.5 hours. Like,
well,
not Michigan.
Right, right now, 3.5 hours is
Look,
colder,
you obviously didn't catch
than
the
you
show
are.
this morning. I am here for all the 3-1-8 defending. It's the same state.
I was just pointing out that it was
you're going
cold
up to Missouri,
there.
Hanny.
Now, is it cold in Shreveport today?
It's cold here too.
It's cold here too, so it's further north. I was just speculating it might be a little bit colder up there.
I think it's single digits, by the way.
I can tell you that the temperatures at the box should be a little bit warmer than this on Friday. They moved the game up to a 4:00 start, which I think is a good idea. So LSU's not playing at night on any of the three games, 4, 4, and 3:30. Over the weekend, a little bit of information. Our friends over at Dandy Don had a little thing with Paul Maneri where he released that Cruz is going to lead off. That was a little bit of a surprise. I had been wondering who would be the leadoff hitter, and he had said very prominently at the beginning of the practices that both Dylan Cruz and Trey Morgan would be at prominent spots in the batting order. I hear prominent spots in the batting order, and I'm thinking, all right, he's going to put these kids in the middle of the order. He's going to put them at the top of the order, with Cade Doty and Cade Beloso coming behind him. So what say you, Hun Palmer, about putting the two freshmen up at the top?
Well, I mean, so there's a lot of things to chat about. One is the days of pigeonholing parts of the order based on these specific characteristics are kind of over.
Mm-hmm.
You don't automatically put the left-handed fast second baseman in the leadoff hole. Yeah. The biggest dude on the team doesn't always hit fourth. I mean, there's just they've changed things around a little bit, and so that's one piece of it. The other piece is Paul Maneri, his history with the leadoff spot. Historically, he has put a number of different guys on there. Usually not the fastest guy on the team. A lot of the times, just a guy that he thinks is likely to hit a double, as likely as anybody on the team to hit a double, and has the ability to get on base a little bit. Guys that have led off in this program, DJ LeMahieu has led off. And Sean McMullen, he's left-handed in outfield. He wasn't nearly as fast as Laird or Stevenson or even Jared Foster, any of those guys. He put him in the leadoff spot. He let Bregman off a couple times. Now, I think that was trying to jumpstart Alex a little bit, but he's put some doubles and homer potential in that leadoff spot many, many times.
Who was leadoff in 17? Was it Freeman?
I think Kramer.
Was it Kramer?
Most of the time, yeah.
Freeman was hurt.
Yeah.
And
Freeman hitting the two holes, I remember, when they got to Omaha.
Kramer can handle the bat, but Kramer's not, a speedster. He's got okay speed, but to your point, he's not
handle the bat. Maneri's more of a hit and run guy. He's not a big bunt guy, not a big.
He does not like the straight steal.
It's way more hit and run. So when you come to handle it back, here's what I like about it, and to me, this is going to have an awful lot to do with how well Cade Doty hits in the 3-hole, how well Beloso hits in the 4-hole, and Dugas hits in the 5-hole. Because if those are your veterans. If those guys hit, it means that Cruz and Morgan are going to see a lot of fastballs.
That's correct.
So that's the part I like about it. The part that is concerning is you got to go out there first. There's, especially on a Friday night, man, the adrenaline